Hello, and welcome to Keeper's Corner Podcast, where we're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. With your hosts, as always, Matthew Sterling, Michelle Brooks, and Brandon Brooks. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Keeper's Corner Podcast. Once again, I'm Matt. Thankfully, this week, I am joined by Brandon so that I'm not rambling all alone by myself. Although
that's right. That's the first thing I'm saying.
He appears to still be a little out of it from his cold. His flu game is just going to have him soundboard happy, apparently.
Oh, I this is all a soundboard. I have recorded everything. I am not going to talk this entire time.
Right.
Okay, listen, I was going to try and sell it, but yeah, I'm still battling my cold, but you might just have to listen to the nasally wonderful goodness of my voice.
No, they had to listen to me for like 45 minutes straight last week, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
Or am I?
I don't know.
You'll never know.
That hurts me.
Anyway.
Man. Look, I'm just going to say that hurts me almost as much as having to witness another bad game from Utica. They play down to their opponent.
Listen, I know this is the Keeper's Corner podcast and we're supposed to talk about the game, but do we have to talk about the game? I really don't want to.
I mean, to be fair, as I mentioned before, I listened to the game and caught bits and pieces of it at work and just have not gotten back around to doing my homework this week and rewatching it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of you talking about the game and me filling in with witty anecdotes and
well, now to be fair, to be fair, I did not go to the game because I was sick, because I did the responsible thing and I stayed home. And so I watched it online. So, I mean, I don't have a firsthand experience, but I did watch the entire game and I rewatched some of it. I didn't rewatch the whole thing. I rewatched a good portion of the first half because the first half made me feel good inside. And then the third quarter just kicked in and felt like I got kicked multiple times where the sun don't shine, and then fell to the ground and got kicked some more.
Yeah, it was a rough game for Utica all around in a 7-3 defeat at home, which gives us a losing record at home on the year at this point, 2-3. Not the kind of stuff you want to see at home, not the stuff that's going to keep bringing out the fans.
Which, from what I understand, from people that were there, definitely not a lot of people there. So I'm wondering if it was just a lot due to sickness or what. I saw our official attendance was definitely down quite a bit.
I was down about 300, but
about 5 from other games. It was 2,700.
From the high, yeah, but from where it was averaging.
All right. I blame the playoffs.
Oh, it's 100%. People were at home watching the Bills.
Watching American football.
Which, I mean, the Bills almost pulled the Bills and lost to a third-string quarterback in the playoffs.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't watch football.
Well, look, I was just going to draw the parallel that was another team playing down to the level of their opponent, except they found a way to win.
Fair. Yeah, we weren't going to find a way to win at this from where we stood in the fourth quarter. There was no finding a win.
I mean, the first half was hard fought, and I guess.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. I haven't been here in a while, so I apologize.
Last week I wasn't going to do like the 4 things that we normally do because that would have just been weird with me listing things off by myself.
Yes. What was the play that changed the game for you? Well, let me tell you what that was. It was.
I mean, yeah, like we'll go stat that tells the story, and mine is 2 goals on 26 second half shots. That's a terrible conversion rate. 38 total shots. Paolo only faced 19 of them, I believe, which means much like that game in Florida where we got absolutely ran off the turf. Oh, he faced 22. But that means we got our shots blocked 16 times. You're not going to have success taking that many shots that can get blocked. When by comparison, you are blocking 2, 5, 6, 7 out of 22. You're getting less than a third blocked and preventing them from getting to Andrew, and you're having almost half of yours blocked before they get to the opposing goalkeeper.
I mean, you figure it's not a surprise that we had more dogs in the second half. Probably specifically in the third. Actually, in the third quarter, we had the most. We literally almost outshot St. Louis in the fourth quarter alone because we had 16 shots on goal. Mm-hmm. In that quarter, and literally you could essentially say that all of our shots in the fourth quarter were blocked. Every single one for one. We had 16 dogs in the fourth quarter, and they blocked 16 shots. There you go. Our fourth quarter's wiped out. It doesn't exist. We basically did nothing in the fourth quarter.
You mean kind of like the second and third where we had 16 shots and 0 of them found the net?
Yeah, we had 16 between those two quarters and nothing. I mean, there was a few of them that was just like, how did that not go in?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like, we're recording this after the Empire and Baltimore game, and it kind of felt like how they felt, how the Empire felt last night with the kind of a force field in front of the goal that they just couldn't penetrate. It kind of felt like the same thing in this game. Don't be a child. I heard that. I know exactly what that was, and I missed you.
Look, I will say this about a previous job. There was a conference we would go to where one of the speakers every year would talk about getting product out into the public, and he would talk about it as penetration, and we would keep a tally going for how many times he said penetration per speech.
We're children.
We are children.
Mm-hmm.
And we're keeping this. Nothing here is above PG-13. We're not saying anything inappropriate.
No.
It's had to say it. And
it's the same thing that would be in, I don't know if it's in a health class nowadays. I would hope so, but it was back in my day.
We're just trying to have some fun because this is not a fun subject to talk about.
No, what are you talking about? I love losing.
Oh, okay. That's on you then.
I thought this was golf.
Lowest score wins.
It's just the balls are bigger.
Yeah, it was. There was definitely some luck involved where just Utica just could not have the ball bounce the right way off a deflection to find the back of the net without it finding a defender, or the ball just couldn't bounce past the line 0.2 of a second earlier.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Coughlin should have had an unassisted goal. I know it was probably late. Obviously they called it that way, that it was after the whistle, which it probably was. But that was beautiful. The fact that he basically, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. He basically scored a goal when everyone else couldn't. He just said, I'm going to do this myself, and just took the shot and bounced it off the back of Paulo's head. And that thing crossed the line. Like, you cannot tell me that thing didn't cross the line, but it just didn't cross the line in time.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get back on track because my stat that tells the story is lots of shots, no conversions for it, which either says you're taking bad shots or you're just not taking shots that challenge the goalkeeper.
Well, see, the problem is I don't have another stat. Like that basically tells the entire story. Is the fact that we couldn't convert
dive deeper
anything.
with a certain goalkeeper's save percentage.
Okay, all right. So this is the stat that tells the story. Hey, I've got two of them, and you're going to take one. Darn it! So that
I'm just trying to help you out. Look, I don't know if like whatever cold medicine you're on is giving you fever dreams. I'm just trying to lend you a hand.
I actually didn't take any today, but I probably should have.
That could explain why you're not feeling the best today.
Nah. So you want me to talk about this 86% save percentage for Paulo? Is that what you're trying to lead me into?
I thought I would coax you into that.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand with the block shots that you gave me. Essentially saying that, hey, we had 38 total shots. What? 16 of them were blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
which means 22 got
the other 22 got through, and 3 got past him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this: he's a good goalie. He's a good keeper.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you can shoot it at him. He's gonna catch it. Mm-hmm. There were some good shots. Don't get me wrong. We had some decent shots, a lot of them that had potential, but it just felt like nothing had heat behind it. It just felt like everything was kind of, just kind of tapped it and hoped it went in. It did not feel like we had, I'm going to be honest, it just didn't feel like we had any passion in the game on Sunday. It really didn't. And from what I have heard, it was not just the team; it was the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had my folks were there, and because they made it because they weren't sick, and they were saying that it was just kind of dead in there, which that's probably because we weren't there.
I'm sorry, I have a job.
I know, but it's. If we had been there, maybe potentially we could have rallied the troops a little bit. But it's just
hey Utica or MASL, just give me a full-time job and then I can make all the games.
Because I mean the problem is if the team's not in it, the fans aren't going to be in it. But it also works both ways. If the fans aren't in it, the team is going to have a harder time caring. I mean, obviously they should care because it is. I mean, it's not their job. I know these guys have, separate lives, separate jobs from this, but it is
a job.
It is a job, but I mean,
it's pride is more than anything, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was searching for a different word and I just couldn't find it, but yeah.
I'm just a super competitive person. Like we'll go out bowling once in a while. It's been a while since like before the pandemic, but if I'm struggling and I'm not doing as well as I know I can, I am frustrated and angry and just not having a good time and in my own head trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong or what's up with the lane like
what the heck am I doing?
Yeah, I can't just play a game and have a good time. Mario Kart used to get violent in our house as kids.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Like we would race for supremacy on Double Dash at Baby Park. My brother, myself, and a friend. And we would run that track 100 times in a row. And it'd be neck and neck, 33 first place finishes, 32 first place, 34. And we would just make fun of whoever had more third place finishes.
Oh, jeez. Y'all are terrible.
Yeah, we were. But yeah, I just had that competitiveness in me. And I don't know. But yeah, if you say like the fan. I know it's a symbiotic relationship between the fans and the players.
Yep, it is.
The plans. The fans feed off the energy from the players. The players feed off the energy from the fans. I know there have been times where I've been there and you or Michelle been like, you want to start a cheer? And I'm like, I got to see something.
Yeah.
I have to see some life before I'm going to try to get this crowd on their feet and loud. And
yep. No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. It's really tough to start. It's hard to not feed off of nothing. That's not the word I'm thinking of. But
right.
It's hard to start something from nothing. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that. And again, that's a two-way street. If we're not giving them something, then we can't really, if we're not giving them something, then they can't give it back. But likewise, if they're not into it, if they're not, we'll say, pulling their weight, we can't reciprocate. It's nearly impossible to do. Sorry.
Yeah. Well. I guess we'll move on to the next part, which is, do you have a play that changed the game?
Unfortunately. So it is the second half, specifically. Oh, where was it? I am trying to remember. We had a really good play where, I believe it was before. Who was it? Right before they got their fourth goal. I'm actually trying to find it in the replay right now. I'm pretty sure that it was, them going for their fourth goal. And basically what happened is we had a really good pass to the back corner. Gordy got it, shot it, and it ended up basically Paulo didn't get it. Sorry, I'm having a hard time pulling this together. Paulo wasn't able to get it. There was two defenders right there to clean it up. And it was just like, at this point, how the hell are we supposed to get a ball in that goal? Like, their defense was just really on point at that time, and it was just making it extremely tough to get anything by them. So, and the fact that shortly after, I'm pretty sure this is the one I'm thinking of. Shortly after that, they scored on us. Like, not long after that at all, they ended up scoring on us, and it was pretty disheartening. It was really disheartening at that point. So, and we're not even going to talk about the Coughlin goal because it was already over by then.
Yeah, it was. It was a rough showing all around. I know we keep saying that, but
it's true. Like,
I'm gonna go. So, I think it was after SK scores his hat trick, and it goes up 6-2. That's when Utica gets Christian Briggs gets called for boarding, very plainly in front of the referee, and Utica goes on the power play with 6th attacker. This is kind of a last-ditch effort to get back in, show that you have any life, make it 6-3 again after it was just a 3-goal game, and then a couple minutes later you give it up on an empty netter against a 6th attacker again. And just nothing. Just absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most obvious reasons why they chose not to offer a new contract to Ryan Hall and to go with Everton Moreira as head coach is because you were going from a defensive mindset to an offensive mindset.
Yes.
And yeah, we've seen that in the pace of play. The pace of play for the team has been a lot faster.
Yes, it has.
And in total shots on goal, it's also been, just an onslaught. But we're not seeing better shots so much as just more of them. And somehow our power play is just as bad as last year.
They've been shots, but they haven't been quality shots. There's just been quantity.
I don't know that. I know there's a finite amount of time in the season. We have to fix power plays. You had a 6-on-4 advantage and you couldn't convert. The game was already getting out of hand at 6-2. It was over when you couldn't even claw a goal back there. Now, kudos to Andrade for scoring at, with just over 3.5 minutes left to make it 7-3. But
unfortunately, it was
over.
Too little, too late.
You're not getting 5 goals in 3.5 minutes.
No, I mean, we have gotten 3 in 45 seconds before. So
that was one time.
That was one time. Lightning
against one of the worst teams in the league.
Lightning can strike twice.
I mean, to be fair, but yeah, you gave up 7 goals to a team that scored less than 4 goals per game coming into this.
Yeah.
Is only at 4 goals per game after it. Not a good look for a team that is supposed to be good offensively and have the offense carry them. Mm-hmm. Something that needs to change going forward. Your choice.
Oh, you are setting me up. I can feel it. Because you already know. Because I already talked about this. Okay. So, I have a very, 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 very important question. Mm-hmm. When we do have to go 6 attacker, why is it Christian? I have no problem with Christian. I love Christian to death. He is an amazing person on and off the field. But he is not fast. We saw this in that game. He was not the one that ended up going back for the ball most of the time. It was Nate. And that actually kind of cost us a goal too, because they got it away from Nate and, took it to the house. Mm-hmm. So Christian, I'm stealing this from you, is a technical player, not a fast player. And I agreed with what you said about that. Off microphone. Mm-hmm. But he's a technical player. He's not a fast player. Therefore, he should not be the one that has to run back and forth when we need to on 6 attacker. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that ends up being the case, I have a hard time understanding why he is our 6th. Now, I would love to have that conversation with Everton, and I'm sure we could arrange that. But it baffles me that is the case. And frankly, I mean, we talked about the rules beforehand. It doesn't matter who it is, essentially. Really what you want is a distributor. And that's kind of what he ended up being, was a distributor who could take shots. That could be Toby. Toby can get back. He is fast. He can get back and defend when he needs to. And he also can get up there. He can take shots. He's scored for us before. He's had some great goals for us before. Just because he hasn't played, just because he hasn't played, I feel like, he's still a solid player.
Mhm.
Oh, that's just my mindset. Is just I think we need to change our sixth attacker. When we do have to go to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, Toby's not obviously never been huge offensively. He's been a block shot kind of guy in the past.
Yeah.
But in every season he's played, he has more assists than goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I see where you could say he could be that kind of person that runs the point. But if you want to look for those that create the most on the team, through these 9 games, Gordy leads the way with 10 assists.
Yep.
Nate is in second with 9. Can you guess who is in third?
For assists?
For assists with 5. There are a couple right behind him with 4, one of them being Christian. But this player has more assists than Christian.
Joey.
No. Joey
Oh.
only has 3. Bo has 4.
I don't know.
This player's tied with Joey for third on the team in points.
For the first 2?
First 2 are Gordy with 20, Nate with 12. Gordy's 10 and 10, Nate's 3 and 9.
Darn, I would have initially thought it would have been Nate.
Joey is 8 and 3. This player has 6 goals and 5 assists.
I don't want to look at it, so I give up.
I'll give you one more hint. Rookie.
We have a lot of those.
Nilton De Andrade.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if defensively he's the guy you want running the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At this point in his career. But you talk speed. He definitely has speed.
Yeah, he does.
He's got 5 assists. So he knows how to find guys. And weirdly enough, his shooting percentage at .300 is one of the best on the team.
Yeah, so he could be both an offensive and a defensive weapon as sixth attacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it.
Now, do you trust a rookie at this point in his career? Do you trust them to get back? Do you trust, all questions that we can't answer ourselves. That's something for Everton to look at.
Right.
But I think there are other options than Christian. And I do agree, look, put him out there. Absolutely put him out there. But I don't know if he needs to be the guy running point.
Honestly, I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot out of Christian this year. If I'm being completely and totally honest, we haven't seen much. And it's weird because last year he was leading for us. I guess he's got 6.
No, you think of 2 years ago. 2 years ago he was
sorry.
huge.
2 years
3.
ago. Yes.
Because we got to throw the COVID season away.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's got 6 goals and 4 assists. But his biggest shortcoming at the moment is his shot percentage, which is at 16.7.
Yeah, it's not great.
Let me get his stats to load up here, and we'll see how that compares to the rest of his career. Because I remember last year saying the same thing. Christian, we love you. You're good at scoring when you can. Yeah, his shot percentage last year was 16.5. That first year in Utica, it was an unsustainable 42%.
Yeah, which you said it right there. It's
but if he can get back into that 25-ish range, that's a huge difference for this team.
Agreed. 100%.
Especially when... Does he lead the team in shots? I know he's pretty far up there. NASA website runs really slow, so...
Especially when you really want to get the information.
All right, so yeah, Gordy leads the team in shots at 40. Christian's in second with 36.
So he Okay, so he's definitely taken a lot of shots for us.
Yes.
But I have seen a lot of his shots, and a lot of his shots end up being the field goals that we like to tease other teams for. Unfortunately, again, this is nothing against him. Like I think he's a great player. It's just
we've seen that he can be a great player.
Yes, it's just this season we're not seeing it, and it's weird to say that. I mean, I was saying the same thing about Joey last year, and then he turned it around and
flipped the switch,
shoved it down my, flipped the switch, and I was going to say flipped the script and shoved it back down my throat, which I'm very glad he did that. So maybe, me calling Christian out will do the same thing. I would love to see it. I would love to eat my words.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, we're a little over a third through the season, right?
Yeah. We have 13 or 15 games left.
I mean, it's now or never. Don't look towards 6 games from now and say, okay, now we got to turn on the gas. We got to turn it on now. I mean, the St. Louis game we should have taken that, at least on paper. We should have taken that. I mean, that really should have. I feel like, I know I'm jumping ahead. I really feel like, I'm pretty sure we said that St. Louis was a must win. Baltimore's a must win. Like, we got to win that. We got to do something. We have to turn this momentum around, or else it's going to be a slippery slope, because we've got 2 against Baltimore.
We got 2 against Baltimore. The one this weekend is in Baltimore.
Yep.
And then at home.
Yep.
So, I mean, you want to talk about how must win this was against St. Louis and how we should have won. Missed opportunity. They were missing. I think Tony Walls didn't play.
They were missing. They said they were missing like 6 people.
Yeah, Otto Yahic didn't play. Their head coach couldn't make the trip.
Yep.
I don't know. I forget. Let me go back to the summary. Who acted as head coach? Donnie Alberti, as maybe he should be the head coach because they responded under him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were at the best strength we have been defensively in the entire season. We literally the game before this, we played, I'm pretty sure, no defenders, if I remember correctly. We had no defenders except for Correa. After Correa got taken off the field, we had no defenders on our team at all. 0. This game, we had 3.
Yeah, and I saw a picture from Correa I think on his Instagram story. He's back home, had like KT tape on the knee, just kind of, I think, rehabbing it because it didn't look too good.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest hit to our team was not having Bo on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Bo, I mean, as a co-captain, it's definitely hard to not have your co-captain on the field. Not have one half of your squad, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But we still had Nate, and Nate is a captain. And I just feel like it shouldn't have had that much of an effect. Now, that's not saying that was the root cause, but it was a cavalcade of things, unfortunately.
So I don't know if you saw those, the polls that I put out last week on Twitter. So I'm
just going to shake my head. You just got to listen for the rocks.
All right. Well, they asked where fans thought the team was compared to the same point last year. Was the offense better, defense better, special teams better, same, And one of them was, do you think the in-game adjustments are better? And overwhelmingly, fans said yes. And this is where I think things need to change. I don't think they're better. I really don't.
I can see where that's coming from.
You want to know what I'm going to use for evidence for that?
Mm-hmm.
We've had 2 players this year score 5 goals on us in 9 games. Yeah. Yes, one of them is Ian Bennett. And as friend of the pod, Phil Levanko, put it on this week's MASL Monday, Ian Bennett is inevitable. Mesquite had a player do the same thing a week later. And that was in Utica on our home turf. And if you are making in-game adjustments, they're not coming fast enough to stop single players. Hello, William Eske and Sam Guernsey from dominating the game.
I think I know potentially where that in-game adjustments might be coming from. I have a theory on that.
Yeah.
We go down 0-2. Timeout. They basically are asked, "What the are you doing?" Sorry, hold on. What the are you doing? And then they come back, and the next thing you know, we're turning it around. That's where I feel like at least some of that poll may be a little biased towards that particular activity that has happened on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah, like it was nice to see us score first this game.
Yeah, I even called it out in the Twitch chat, saying that, you know, I was talking to somebody in the chat and basically saying that, you know, it's weird that we're in this position that we're up 1-0 when the past, you know, at least 3 out of our last like 5-6 games, we were down 0-2 even in the first minute of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, very, very odd.
And yeah, I mean, just it's got to get faster. Just I don't know. I don't know how else to put it, you know. And I don't know if that's Everton not recognizing I don't want to make it sound like I'm calling the coach dumb here, but I don't know if that's Everton not recognizing or not quite getting that defensive adjustment, because most of the changes that need to happen have been on the defensive end.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then we get buried, and then once we fall behind, we start taking worse shots because we have pressure on us to get back into the game, a la this one.
Yes.
And then we make goalkeepers look like if Tim Howard suddenly came to the indoor game during his prime. Or you know, is it on the players? Are they not taking what Everton is saying in game that they need to change up defensively? And are they the ones not making the adjustments? Is it a little of both? I don't know. I just know that it can't continue if we're going to stand any chance of seeing a 25th game this year.
Yeah, it cannot.
All right, so now to put on our rose-colored glasses and take one positive away from this game.
Darren Toby was back.
Darren Toby is back. I don't know what the visa thing is that changed there that let him back and got some guys back for KC and other guys back for Florida, but Darren Toby being back is big for us defensively and as a leader on the team.
Yes,
it was veteran voices.
It was very nice to see him back on the field. Just honestly, just having his presence on the field,
mm-hmm.
you know, in a way can make you feel, at least, you know, veteran fans who have seen him on the field know that he had Defender of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, seeing him on the field and knowing that he's around, helps some of us feel a little bit better, knowing that our defense has been lacking this season. You know, we've said that that it has felt like it's been lacking, and the fact that we have a veteran defender back on the team, it helps. It helps, and I think that we can only go up from this game with him being back. I really do, because he's a game changer against some of these other teams that we've dealt with. I'm going to say specifically Baltimore. And I'm really interested to see how he, or as well as him, Logan being back on the field, having two of our veteran defenders back. I want to see how that changes things going forward, and I really hope it does. But that means we need to still push the offense, but incorporate them into it.
Yeah,
which I'm sure that Everton will do.
Mm-hmm. I guess I already talked on my bright spot, and we already talked about it, which is we scored first.
Yes.
Holy crap, finally. After 4 games in a row where we went down 2-0, scoring first is nice.
Sometimes within the first minute.
Now, unfortunately, it's only the 3rd time we've scored first this season. And in those games, we are now 1-2, but the other 2 times were against Harrisburg and against Baltimore to start the season.
Yes.
And we couldn't hold on to a lead on SECU.
Unfortunately, no.
Tiny field, dump it in the corner, get up there and crash the net. Yeah, that I think that's everything we have to say about this game. Nothing ridiculous happened officiating wise.
So that was actually I had a laugh after the game because my mother, who is nicest, sweetest woman you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, like the next day, I want to say, I get a text message. Friggin' refs. I'm like, they called everything. I didn't see anything get called poorly. Now, granted, I'm watching the broadcast, not there, but I did not see anything blatant at all. Obviously we'd be unhappy about the goal that got called off. Obviously calls did not go our way all the time, but they never are going to. Mm-hmm. In this game, I did not see, same thing you said, I did not see anything from an officiating standpoint that was egregious. Nothing at all.
Now, when I say that, I'm basing that off of MASL standards. So, not missing a player stepping on someone 15 feet in front of you. Congratulations, guys. You did the bare minimum.
Yeah. You called the game. Woo!
Woo! Side note, Gordy Gerson still top of the league, tied with points even after last night's game between the Empire and the Blast, because Roque went off again for them, and they're now both tied with 20 points apiece. Gordy, far more balanced, as we mentioned, 10 goals, 10 assists. Roque, who we'll see this Saturday at 6 o'clock in SECU Arena, has 16 goals to 4 assists.
It's nice to know that at least one of our players is up there in the league, because I felt like last year we were just kind of middle of the road on everything, or bottom of the pack on a lot of things. So it's nice to hear that we have some players that are excelling. And we were skeptical of Gordy in the beginning of the season and before the season. Not even going to mince words about that. We were skeptical. At least I was, and I know Michelle was as well. But I'm glad. I love being proved wrong by these guys. I will take it all day, every day. Just give it to me. I love to be proved wrong when it's in a positive light. So, no, that's. I'm glad that he's doing well, and I hope he continues to do so and stays healthy.
That brings us to Saturday's game. Baltimore, like we said, familiar foe. Lucas Roque is MVP potential this year. We've only played them once this year, lost to them back to open the season. in a close one that we all felt pretty good about. I'll be honest, like after, it was a loss but close, and then losing to Florida and Milwaukee, and even to Strikers, close losses, but
Nothing to feel
games that
bad
we were
about.
never really out of. I was like, I'm not gonna feel terrible this year, and now I kind of feel terrible this year.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a few good, like you said, few good close matches that you really couldn't feel bad about losing. You hated it. You hated that you lost.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel negatively about it. Like there was a lot of positivity around with the players, with the fans. There was still a lot of positivity. That's slowly grading away.
Yeah.
The further we go into the season, and it's because we keep losing by what feels like larger margins.
Or we get a lead and we blow it late, or
what to observers looks like potentially a lack of effort. Not to say I'm not saying these guys are not putting in effort. I'm just saying that to fans, to viewers of the game, comparing like the St. Louis game to say the Mesquite game or like the Florida game that we lost. The second one, the second one, not the
second one, the 1-goal game at home.
Yes, the 1-goal game. This game just felt like we weren't putting anywhere near as much effort into it. So, I mean, and I originally said that this was, one of the higher margin games that we've lost. I mean, the first Florida game still takes that cake. It was still a 6-point differential. Yeah. Whereas, this one was a 4-point, but we've only lost one. No, we haven't lost any other game by that much. We won a game by that much against Harrisburg, but we haven't lost one. Other than, like I said, the Florida game. So this was our second highest differential loss. Yeah. And it was at home, which hurts even more.
Well, familiar foes. You're not going to hear any surprises here when I tell you who. I mentioned Roquet leads them in points. Second on their team in points, Mello. You got 6 and 6. Third on their team in points, Moises Gonzalez, 5 and 5.
That hurts.
Yeah. The usual guys that you expect to score for them are scoring. And then something to keep an eye on. I don't know if you caught, it was in the chat all night last night. Where's Vanzala? They had Mike Zierhofer play in goal. Vanzala didn't travel with the team. Don't know why. I assume he will be starting Saturday. It might just have been one of those things where he couldn't make the cross-country trip.
He could have been sick like half the other people, like me. That's why Bo was out, is because he was recovering from being sick.
We avoided the likely rookie of the year in Gabriel Costa because he was getting married when the Strikers came to town.
Yep.
So who knows? But I would expect him in goal. He's only allowing 4.85 goals per game, and he's got a .731 save rate. So it's Vanzala right up there where we expect him to be. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel going into this game.
It's hard to feel good after the last one. That is the problem. It is hard to feel good after that last game. And so these guys either need to come into this with a fire to just come roaring back into this. They can't come in feeling defeated after this past week, which it sounds like, at least I had a talk with Matt Huber, the FC fanatic, as many of you know him as, who went to 72 after the game, and the guys were in good spirits, I guess. Which is great, as long as they are still taking away that we got our butts kicked in a game we shouldn't have. And, as long as they're going to attempt to course correct, that's what we need. We need course correction here. Don't let the train go any more off the rails. We can't have it happen.
Right.
So I don't know. We can just kind of hope that they're doing whatever they can in practices and just trying to bring things back. That's what we need. So we shall see. That's all we can do.
These teams don't like each other. It's usually one where we see Utica get up for. Hopefully it's a case where they do play up to the level of their opponent instead of down to the level. I don't know who. Just because I don't feel good about it after this past weekend, and I just can't wash that taste out of my mouth until I see a better match. I'm not going to say give your prediction on who wins and final score. I'm going to give you a spread. Utica +2. 2.5. So if we'll be within 2 goals of them, basically.
Whoa. You sound like my soundboard. No, I'm not. I ain't doing that. No, I'm going all in. Okay. So I am giving credit where credit's due. I am saying Everton has one of his we go down 2 goals talks before the game, not during it. Basically get your heads out of your collective and figure it out so that we can get this ball rolling right out of the gate. I am going. I have a score in mind, but I'm hesitant because I'm just thinking because we have more of a defense now, which is where we were severely lacking. I'm going to say that Toby and Logan become a very serious asset, and Alves is becoming really good for us as well. Like he's doing well both offensively and defensively for where he is in his his MASL career. So I'm going to say the fact we should have all of those weapons at our disposal this weekend, and the fact that Baltimore is also coming off of a loss in overtime. Maybe a little bit more gassed, but probably not because it's going to be 4 days since their last game. I originally was going to say it's going to be the exact same result as their Empire game. 6-5 in overtime.
Okay.
I still want to go with that. That's honestly what's going in my head is 6-5 in overtime. Utica. Okay. I'm taking Utica.
Well, I commend you for that because I just can't do that. I haven't seen us close out enough games. We beat Mesquite. We blew a 2-goal lead in the final 5 minutes and had to win in overtime. So we dropped a point there that we should have had. We just looked awful in the second half against St. Louis. Barely clung with them in the first half, somehow fighting to a 1-1 draw. We couldn't close out against strikers. I mean, we kept clawing back and tying. But when it came to finish the game, put up the final, 2-3 goals?
Yeah.
Florida, we took them almost all the way. And then with 90 seconds left, we concede on a fast break. I need to see this team start closing out games before I can start predicting them to win regularly again. Last week I didn't do a prediction because it was just me, and I kind of forgot. After 35 minutes of talking to myself, I was like, what do I got to do? And then I went and looked at the Utica roster because I knew about the P1 visa things getting cleared up for some teams.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Toby just was like, yep, no, that's all I can think about is Toby's back. Baltimore's really tough to beat on that tiny field.
It is. Yep, they are. Absolutely. We've done it.
In 2019.
Doesn't matter when. We've done it.
It's been a few years. Is the team capable of it? Probably.
This is almost the same team that took San Diego to the house last year. And
we had defense last year.
We didn't have Darren.
We didn't have Darren Toby.
Yeah, we didn't have Darren Toby last year.
I know we have him back. I know.
Yeah.
But we had Jake Schindler last year.
We did have Jake Schindler. Yep.
I don't remember if Logan was healthy for that game.
I'd have to look.
I can't pick Utica. I'm going to say 7-5 because it is just offense and maybe Coughlin plays off his rocker in this game, and we see an 830 save percentage from him, and he's the sole reason we're in this game and we win it. But I don't know if I don't want to say our defense can't come together. I don't know if they've had enough time playing together after Toby's been out of the league for 3 years. And yeah, he's been there at practices. But that's never the same as game speed.
He's been playing though.
M2.
He's playing. I do agree that he is rusty. I do agree that he is rusty at this level.
Yes.
But it's not that he hasn't been playing at all. This year he has been, but
two games in M2 win.
Better than nothing?
Oh yeah, better than nothing, absolutely. But
he was not having watched him play in a while. I mean, obviously it's hard to have comparison, but he was still breaking stuff up like he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was where he should have been multiple times, where he needed to be.
I don't know. Big body, small field. That'll make him a bigger impact, but
yeah,
it can also get him tangled up in bodies easier. I'd love to come in here next week and be like, oh, yeah, we got to win. We're back on, because Florida's ahead of us in the standings and stealing points or Baltimore's ahead of us. Why do I keep calling them Florida? Probably because I got 4 hours of sleep last night. And I went and stood outside for several hours today.
In the cold.
Yeah. I have weird hobbies, guys.
He's actually a snowman. He's a professional snowman.
Okay,
he stands in people's...
Just because I am extremely white,
and bald.
Sometimes my nose gets chilly and it looks red, and you might be like, well, red's close to orange, but it's not long enough to be a carrot nose.
Matthew, snowman was a happy, jolly soul. He yells at refs and screams all day.
I really want to pull a Team Ecuador right now. I don't even remember where I was before I
You were giving a prediction.
Yeah, I said Baltimore 7, Utica 5.
Okay.
A while ago.
Oh, you said a +2 spread.
Yeah,
I don't remember you saying numbers.
I did a while ago.
Oh, I guess
you were fully committed. I had to. Oh, I was saying, like, I'd love to come in and say on next week, yeah, we beat Baltimore. They're ahead of us. They were ahead of us in the standings. This kind of pushes us ahead of them, even though they've played one last game. And then we get them at Utica, where it's always a different game, and the crowd can get into it and affect things. And
see, there's one difference between you and me.
Yeah.
You know that song that Pitbull put out not that long ago, 2020, COVID? No. It was basically that I believe that we will win. He basically turned that into a song.
No, I didn't know Pitbull put a song out.
Well, he did that. You uncultured swine.
Oh, well,
I'm kidding.
Anti-Flag just put out
I'm kidding.
Last week.
The only reason that I knew about it was because they played it a lot when I went to a New England Revolution game. So that's how I knew about it. But I believe in Utica. I believe in this team. I am behind this team. I want this team to win. I want this team to succeed. I know they have the capability of doing it. I know they do. We've seen it. Now, granted, it hasn't been this squad because a lot of changes have been made. You know, we used to have Mo Kenaway. We used to have Liam Callahan. We used to have Jake Schindler. A lot of changes. We used to have Steve. Oh God, we used to have Steven DeRue. You know, we used to have Vitali. I mean, he's not really
Togba.
I'm sorry, Togba's game winner a couple of weeks ago was amazing. We used to have Moy. You know, there's a lot of people that we used to have. Lucio Gonzaga. There's another one. Veteran. I still believe in this team. I still believe that we have the components that we need to succeed. It's just we have not found our footing yet, but we have to find it quick.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not this week, when?
Yeah.
They have the capability. We can beat Baltimore. I know we can beat Baltimore. After our first game this season against them, I felt very confident that we were going to beat them at least once this season. Let's make it this weekend on their own turf. Make a statement. Do something. Show your fans, show the league that you are not out of this fight yet. Sorry.
No.
Preaching, but that's what needs to happen. And I know they can do it. Put it all out there. Pretend that there is no other game that you have to play. Nothing else you have. This is everything. And show us that it means something to you to win this.
Yeah. I mean, you know where I was at this before the season, where I was like, oh, it's going to be a rebuild. We got a lot of rookies. Set your expectations low. And then I think I let myself get caught up in I don't want to say overachieving, because I don't think competing with some of the best teams in the league is overachieving. But I got caught up in the moment.
We weren't completely doing terrible.
Yes, caught up in the moment and expected the defense to kind of work itself out a bit more by now. Mm-hmm. And I don't just mean Toby and Logan. I mean everyone else on transition defense, which... Oy. The counterattack defense is... I know that's the whole point. It's counterattack. You got to get back fast, but...
I don't know. I think that at this point, you know, this is a time that maybe you and I start organizing certain conversations to try and happen, so we can get deeper insight. I think this is the time that you and I need to start talking about that.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird place to be in as a fan because the roster's both built to win now with all the veteran talent that we have and bringing Gordy in, and it's also built for a rebuild because half the team is rookies.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
A lot of them have a lot of potential.
Oh,
Wow,
absolutely.
a lot of these guys have potential.
Fernandez and De Andrade have absolutely impressed to this point on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Alves is pretty good out there as a defender.
If you hadn't mentioned it, I was going to. I mean, Ricky has been he was sorely missed the game he had a red card.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe we could do it. I believe in Utica. That is my slogan. I believe in Utica. I believe they can do something. I believe that we can turn this around, right the ship, whatever you want to say. I feel that we can do it, but it needs to happen now.
Maybe you need to send me that song just so I can get it stuck in my head, because you talk soccer chants and I have one from the EPL stuck in my head, which is just a heckle at a player that like failed. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've wanted to start this chant multiple weeks. That I believe in Utica based off of this song, but I need to probably I needed to tell you all about it first so that y'all knew what the heck I was doing.
You just go with it, and if it's good, we'll follow.
Oh, so
that's how chants work.
So if it sucks, then I'm just by myself.
Yeah, like the one guy that tries to start the UCFC chants without having someone on the other side to start it back.
Hey, they're trying, and they get it going for a little bit. That's more than you and I can say.
That's because I don't do that one, because you're not in the other corner to yell back to start the back and forth.
That's not what it's about. They're still getting the back and forth. They're still getting the back and forth. It may be in one section, but if we did the chant that I just talked about, then it's still gonna be centered in our section anyway.
Yeah.
So
but we're also the wild and crazy section.
Most days.
We had thundersticks.
When you get off your phone, yeah, I'm calling you out.
Yeah. Sometimes I try to live tweet and it does not work very well.
No, it doesn't. It takes you out of the game. And it makes you want to throw your phone. Calling you out.
Or I'm trying to go and catch the replay that they're going to show on the screen to be like, hold on, was that the right call? Because they're not going to show it in the arena.
This is what I'm going to tell you. And this is something that I live by. Live in the moment, not on your phone, not through a screen. Stop it.
I need to know if my heckling is right.
We have gotten better with that. I have noticed that this season, I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but our podcast, I can do what I want.
It's my podcast. I can do what I wanna.
I have noticed that most of our group has definitely become more familiar with the game, to the point that a lot of us, I can at least think of at least a couple of people who better recognize penalties, whether they're for or against us, or ones that we think that some people think should have been called that weren't, but they weren't actually penalties.
Yeah.
I have noticed that as a fan and as an observer, at least some of us have gotten better at recognizing those things and being like, no, that was definitely a clear penalty. We deserve that one. Or, if they really don't call something, we usually can recognize like that was egregious.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good about that. I feel better about that. I feel like we're starting to collectively understand the game better than we used to, where everything was just, how could you do that? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
When we chant for a new ref, we usually have good cause.
Yeah, usually because it's a guy that's reffed over 1,000 games in the MASL and still gets rules wrong based on how they're written.
Yeah. So.
And then some of them are just, I'm still baffled from the Strikers game where Hundelt got the yellow in the corner in front of us. And I have no idea what actually caused the foul that was called to stop the play. I watched that a dozen times. And maybe it's just because I'm not watching the official to see where his eyes are.
Yep.
Because I expect them to be cross-eyed.
I mean, to me, it's still still knowing that we had to get review of we'll call it the stomp. The fact that we had to get a review of that just to get the call.
Yeah.
Does bother me.
Oh, like that was the most obvious, at least a foul.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he was trying to get the ball out of his legs because if I went back and I looked, it was still between his legs.
Yes,
it was
I watched that 4 or 5 times.
So, because originally you said it was out of his legs, and it's like, no, it was still between his legs.
In the arena, yeah, I was not paying attention to the ball.
Yeah, no, you weren't.
I was watching Frank's eyes and where he was looking to where the foot went.
Yeah, and it was
lined up.
There was intent. Like he meant what he did. Maybe not. Would he do it again? Who knows? But in that moment, in that specific time, he knew what he was doing.
See, this is how I know you didn't listen to last week's episode, because I said basically the same stuff. Is, if he goes under the legs to kick the ball away, he's fine. But he tried to go through the leg.
Yes.
And I even said, I don't know if I would have called it a red in hindsight. That probably, if they call it right at the moment, you can get away with a blue and a yellow and a major penal, and then have it go to review.
Yeah.
Now, on under review, Sigic irrevocably said that it was a red. It deserved a red.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that they're taking player safety somewhat seriously, finally, maybe.
Agreed.
So, yeah. Woo.
Woo, woo,
we got a game Saturday, 6:05, SECU Arena. It's the field for ants that needs to be bigger.
Do we know what MASL channel it's on yet?
No, they won't announce that till day of, I don't think.
I don't know. I bet I can find it. Nice hiccup.
Okay, have fun. Thank you. I thought you would appreciate it.
I did. It is going to be on MASL_soccer. So the main channel.
Okay.
There's a schedule tab, Matt.
Look, all I know is half the time the games go live and they still say the title for the previous game. So, I'm not trusting the schedule.
Hey, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/high5pars. And
look, if you want to plug your stuff, at least do it, own up to it.
twitch.tv/high5pars.
Now, is that HI, the number 5?
I hate you. Anyway, it's very easy to make that mistake, going live and then changing your title. Very easy to do. So
I'm sure.
I literally have done that within the past week. So I don't hold that against them at all. Yes, you could definitely change it beforehand, because otherwise it's going to say Florida Tropics versus Milwaukee Wave from Friday.
Yeah, I just think it's funny when I get the notification on my phone and I'm like, I thought that game happened. Oh, maybe they're just playing again. And then I turn it on and it's a completely different game.
Yeah. So I've been there. I've done that. I get it. Not going to, get on their case about it.
Yeah. Anywho. You just got really bright.
Yeah, my browser was locked up, and then all of a sudden it went to a just blank white page. So it was
I thought maybe an angel had appeared unto you and was going to reveal to you some secret golden plates to lead you to the promised land.
I know the plays. I know how we win.
My mom,
I will never tell
she
you.
was in heaven.
No, I will tell you. But you must first send me $9.95.
Oh, see, I thought you were referencing Semi-Pro.
No, I've never even seen it.
Will Ferrell's character, Jackie Moon.
I have already been turned off.
Well, okay. Well, he gets knocked out as they're trying to get into the 4th place, which is, what their whole goal was for the season. Top 4 teams would make the NBA. And they find out, like, right before the final game, no matter what, they're too small of a market. They're not going. And it's only relevant because the Flint, Michigan Tropics inspired the Florida Tropics, like the whole color scheme. But he gets knocked out, and in his unconscious state, he goes to heaven, and his mom gives him a play that will help him win the game, and it's the alley-oop.
Okay.
And they just come out, and they're just throwing down the first alley-oops ever.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
ELE, everybody love everybody. And sometimes that does feel like watching a Massel documentary, because at one point they do trade a washing machine to get a player. And we will never confirm or deny the rumors, or have the ability to confirm or deny the rumors, that alcohol traded hands when Slav and Christian traded teams as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's,
I don't know if that's just a fun rumor or true, but I heard that some...
we're just going to keep it that way, that it was just a fun rumor.
Here's a midfielder. He's fantastic with his left foot, and he brings with him some Utica club. Good old Uncle Charlie's.
I think that's enough rambling, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Anything else for you tonight?
Let's bring home a W. Let's bring home a W from Baltimore. I want to win.
Yeah, let's just get points. Let's get point. If we go to overtime and lose, we get a point. Yeah. That's better than nothing.
I'm greedy.
Oh, I
want 2 points.
Of all 3.
I want 2 at least.
You want 2 at least?
I want 2. Bring it home. Everybody wear headbands, channel your inner Timmy. Whatever you got to do, just let's do it. I'll be wearing my headband. I'll be at home with my jersey and my scarf, watching it on the TV. Hopefully,
I'll be on
feeling
the cook line with the phone playing in the background, and then I'll probably come home and watch the game after listening to the game. Unless it's another extremely depressing one, in which case I'll have to convince myself to watch the game.
Yeah.
But I'll at least have it there in the background.
Yeah.
Wow. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Brandon.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Dogs.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to us so you never miss an episode. If that podcast app also has reviews, be sure to leave us 5 stars to let us know how we're doing and reach a larger audience. It really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Keeper Corners Pod. And you can always find us there talking UCFC soccer. Thanks again for the support. It's truly appreciated. One last thing. Go Utica.